Welcome to Make Shit Happen. Our guest today is Taseer Badar. Taseer is an American entrepreneur, businessman, and philanthropist. Taseer, thank you for taking the ride and thank you for taking the time and coming to seeing us. And we're about to make shit happen right now.
Thank you for having me, Sam. Really appreciate it. Such an honor to be here.
Taseer, I always see your building ZT Wealth when I go up and down by the 610 loop. And I know you are the CEO of ZT Wealth. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about ZT Wealth and how did you get that started?
Well, now we're ZT Corporate.
ZT Corporate, okay. Yes.
We've gone through a few name changes through the years, but same ownership, just structure. Just as we've evolved from a mom and pop company in 1997. Now we're 23 plus years old. Wow. So as the companies went from ZT Global Investments to ZT Wealth, then to ZT Corporate. Right. And, ZT Corporate, very proud of our team. We've had upwards of 3,000 employees at one time. We've sold a few companies recently. We have about 1,500 employees now. We're focused in the automobile industry as far as dealerships go, and healthcare is where I made my mark.
Yeah, so you started with healthcare.
Yes.
And now you have dabbled into autos and stuff like that. So you have dealerships in Florida. Mm-hmm. Where else?
Florida and Georgia.
And
so soon we're coming home to Houston.
Oh, soon. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So 3,000 employees
at one time. At one time. Now we sold 3 companies. We're down to 1,500, but I could see us exceeding 3,000 here pretty soon with the growth that we're trajectory.
So I know you started your career with Morgan Stanley as a stockbroker. Mm-hmm. Okay, so tell us a little bit about it and how did that go from that to ZT Corporate now?
Well, if I back up, I was 8 years old cutting grass, the neighbor's yard. I've always wanted to be my own business person. My parents are professionals. I guess you always think the grass is greener on the other side always. And you think, well, I'll just go into business and I'll do my own thing. I always wanted to be that business person. So it kind of goes before Morgan Stanley. Mm-hmm. When I was in college at Texas A&M, I had my own toner cartridge business, recycling toner. And I did really well for a college student. I'd saved a good amount of money, but I wanted to do something in my degree, which was finance and entrepreneurship. So I took a job, went up to New York, did a training program at Morgan Stanley, worked over a year. And I said, clients were with me because of me, not because of the flag. Mm-hmm. And if I shifted flags, what would that do? So I partnered up with a partner at that time and made it happen, like you say, make shit happen, right? Yeah. So I went for it at the age of about 22, 23 at that time, and I wanted to start my own business. I went independent, so an independent brokerage house, and we cleared through at that time, I think, with Bear Stearns. So we started that. I got the business of managing physicians' money, and then started a healthcare business with those physicians. So it just kind of evolved into that. So from a financial advisor, now we still have financial advising at our clients, but I only do it as an accommodation to my clients. I really don't go market out there. It's more of if they're my client or a long-term partner, we have a financial advising division, which is significant, but it's not as significant as our other portfolio, like I said, the operating businesses. Okay.
So I know at one time you also owned restaurants.
Yes.
Okay. So tell us the whole spectrum of what does ZT Corporate do or did. So I know y'all owned restaurants. I know you own dealership, car dealership, health industry, financial advisor company. What else do y'all do? And what made you go from being a stockbroker to doing all this stuff and managing 3,000 employees?
Well, I've always been entrepreneurial. And I like the stock market, but I just, the passion of the market, trading, those things aren't really what is my passion. I think the market's an interpretation of what's going on with sentiment. It's a great training ground. You really understand people's sentiment, which is the key to running a business, is people's sentiment. As far as ZT Corporate, what we do, we own and operate Altus Healthcare. I started that business from scratch as a surgery center turned hospitals. We've had radiation oncology. We've had hospices, infusion companies, pharmacies, freestanding ERs. We recently did an acquisition of Neighbors ER facilities. So we are really all in healthcare. I've scheduled patients myself as an entrepreneur, front desk person, to see that company grow and do so well all over Texas. We have several hospitals all over Texas now. So that's one end. In 2014, the end, we diversified in the auto dealerships. And it's more than just dabbling now. We're very significant. We're probably one of the largest minority-owned dealerships in the country. And our brands are Chevy, Mercedes, BMW, Mazda, Toyota, and soon to be another 8 more here locally in Houston that I can't go into until the deal's done.
Okay, well, good. Is and the deal, you said the one in Houston, pretty much close to getting done?
It's close. I see it happening in the next 60 to 120 days.
I know you also tried to get in multifamily
Yes.
apartment complexes and stuff. What about that?
Well, we dabbled in it because I always thought that, having stream cash flow would be really good. Listen, at the end of the day, it's a Class C type business that we got into. We're in one. I feel as though to build the infrastructure out, you have to be an expert. My new thing that I learned at a retreat in December was be narrow and deep, not wide and shallow. So I'm very much focusing our resources on medical and auto. And personally, I don't mind personally investing my family office into different investments, and I do all the time. But to take investors' money and to do something I don't know and control 100%, I decided these two. We're doing fine in the multifamily. It will be okay. Right now with the COVID situation, we're just focusing. We just stopped there at this one.
So tell us what, you said COVID situation.
Mm-hmm.
What has COVID done to your business, or what has it done to, I know you said taking investors' money. So what it has done to investors' appetite in investing?
That's a great question. First of all, the biggest investor in the group is me. So I can tell you, if your skin's in the game, your clients tend to believe you. And our track record, by grace of God, has been good. I could tell you that ZT Corporate has been very blessed, very blessed during this COVID situation. Our dealerships have done excellent. We're in the South. If I was in San Francisco or New York, I have a great operator. But even if I had a great operator in those towns, I think it would be very, very tough. As this situation being in Atlanta, the Panhandle of Florida, I think we're we got unscathed. Yes, we had a drop, but we made profit. I think if you made profit or broke even in the height of the pandemic and lockdown, I think you did very well. Mm-hmm. As far as the healthcare business goes, our ERs, you can imagine, did well during this time. Our volume dropped, but our acuity went up. So our effective economics of the portfolio was good. The surgery centers, hospitals where we do surgeries, we lost 2 months of surgery, couldn't do surgeries because of the elective surgery situation. However, if you look at the fact that, let's say you have to go get your haircut. I get my haircut every 7, 8, 10 days, because I'm lucky it grows a lot. But that salon lost 8 weeks, 8 haircuts. We didn't lose that hip surgery. We didn't lose that knee. So we truly have a pent up demand to where we had a record surgery month. Right. As Governor Abbott opened up the economy here and opened up the beds. So we've been very lucky. I think that for a business person to another business person, I'm not wishing COVID on anyone. This is unherited type situation. It's never happened. It's a force majeure situation. However, you'll find out what type of group you're invested in and what type of management team. I was with the bank president the other day in Dallas, and he was like, we're one of their top clients as far as volume goes. And they were saying, we really are seeing who's leaders and who are followers. And I think in this situation, you'll find that you could pick up some followers at some pretty attractive prices. So we've been doing that.
You're basically picking up some followers at a good attractive price.
Big nice price, and honestly that are good resistant type businesses that just have been really hurt by this situation.
So when COVID happened and everything closed, I know your corporate office probably closed for a little bit, or you're working from home. I mean, everybody.
No one worked from home. We were at the office the whole time, unless you were uncomfortable. Okay. But I was the first company in the country to pay for testing and got everyone tested. Okay. All our 1,500 people had voluntary testing done in March, and I did it and coincide with the mayor of Houston.
So that's good. So
we were all essential businesses. Yeah. We were all deemed essential: financial, auto, health. Exactly.
So you were at the office and got it done.
Yeah.
And so did you a lot of businesses and a lot of I talked to a lot of business people, and they're all like, well, we have a hard time. Mm-hmm. We lost some of our workforce. We have a hard time getting some people back.
Yeah.
Did you face that problem also?
By grace of God, no, because I never really shut down.
Okay.
We had a steady flow. And I think many of the businesses that have shut down, like I've been traveling to some hotels I've been traveling, safely traveling. And, a lot of people, like regular receptionists and the front desk, I was patron of the same hotel. They can't find, you can't find them back because they don't want to come back, or they've gone and got the job somewhere else. Right. So I don't have those issues by grace of God.
Yeah. A lot of business people, have had that. So tell us a little bit about your early life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're born in Pakistan.
Yes.
And you moved over here with your parents.
At 1 year old.
Oh, when you were 1 year
Mm-hmm.
old. So, and you moved to Wisconsin.
Yes.
So how did you make them move from Wisconsin to Houston to New York? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, my father's in the paper industry. My mom is she's a biology, physics, so many different things. She's teacher, professor. My dad was in the paper industry in Pakistan, in Lahore, a company called Kohinoor Rayon. When Zulfikar Bhutto, when he nationalized the industry, he moved to New York to find a job, to see if he could just explore. And he actually found a job immediately. We came about 9 months to a year later in Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Then we moved to upstate New York when I was a few years old after that. Mm-hmm. A couple of different places in New York. And then we moved to Houston in 1981. And he worked for Champion Paper at that time. My mom worked in the medical center for 40 years at the VA hospital.
Okay. And then you went to school back to New York?
No, Texas A&M.
Okay, you went to
I'm
Texas
the last
A&M.
of 4 Aggies in the family. I'm the youngest of 4 kids.
Okay, so you went to A&M, so you were an Aggie, and then you went to New York with Morgan Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
Got
yes,
you.
exactly.
And then, so let's fast forward.
Yeah.
You were at Morgan Stanley. You and a friend, a partner of yours, decided you were going to open up your own company. You went on your own, and let's just go back memory lane over there. And what happened after that?
Well, we opened up. Morgan Stanley was actually opening up an office in Houston. It was called Morgan Stanley Dean Winter at the time, and they were evolving a new office in West Houston, and they asked me, do I want to, be involved in that office? And I said, I love New York as a young person, but it's a really hard place to live when you have no money. So I moved back to Houston, lived with my parents. I worked here a few months, completing a year here. I met a partner who had come from a business family, had a lot of business contacts, and I said, let's go independent. He liked the idea, so we went independent and started this company in April of 1997. And it was, at that time, the market was really hot. The NASDAQ was on fire. People think the NASDAQ being at 10,000 today. The NASDAQ was at 5,000 in 2000 before the tech bubble. Yeah. And then it went down all the way down, lost almost 70-80% of its value, and then came back to what it is today. So we were in that business. But I really realized, Sam, that I'm an entrepreneur. I threw the paper as a kid, collected money from the Houston Chronicle. It was like, how much you collect, you keep it. I was making $700 a week at the age of 13, cutting grass during the summer. I always wanted to be business it's just in my DNA. It's who I am.
To see people who don't know who you are, okay, and they don't see the magnitude of the business you run. Right. Tell us a little bit, if you don't mind. Brag a little bit for us.
Oh, come from a humble beginning. I could tell you, Sam, that you said this podcast is very well titled. I mean, you just got to make it happen, right? So if I look back on it, it's pretty humbling to tell you, from one employee, we've had, like I said, over 3,000 at one time. We've done over 700 million in revenues, had 70-80 million in earnings. We've had $280 million in recent exits in the last 3 years. Every day is not a Sunday, but when you got to squeeze lemon out of lemonade, and some of those stories, you make lemonade out of lemons, and some of those lemons end up being some of your best track records you ever have. So, we've had a great company, great people. I have some great partners. It's not about me. I have a great team of people. And there's an I in win. Sometimes in the clutch, you got to shoot the shot.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what Michael Jordan used to say. But there's no I in team.
Yeah. I get it. So you say every day is not a Sunday, right?
Mhm.
So that means that, when you say that every day is not a Sunday, of
Right.
course there's disappointments.
Sure.
And some days are rainy days like today.
Yeah.
Tell us your rainy, stormy day or something that you.
God, I've had many rainy days, the market dropped when I first started ZT. We were on fire. You did so well. I was a toast kid of the town, at these events. We were making a lot of money, but I realized I didn't make the money. The market made the money, because the market was hot.
Mm-hmm.
The market crashed. And then you were like, what do I do? What happens? And you just got to hold people's hand, not run away. So that was one. But I think I'll tell you a story that was a great story for me that I think is really relevant if I'm thinking about memory lane. In 2008, we were building in conjunction with the city of Pearland. Before Pearland blew up, we were the first Class A office building in Pearland. And the reason the market was everything was moving towards that development wise. And I took my first real estate development project. 80,000 square foot building. Literally, the city of Pearland was pumping in a $1.2 million out of a $16 million deal, which is really nothing, but it was a ratification of the deal. And as soon as I broke ground, we had the city manager there, the mayor there, it was some state officials there. It was a big deal because what Pearland is today, they'll even tell you because ZT helped develop Pearland. And now you see buildings everywhere. In fact, we still have a back office there right now. We put the shovel in the ground. Lehman Brothers announced literally that day that the crisis happened, financial crisis, and they were melting down, and Bear Stearns, and da-da-da. We had already bought the steel. The steel prices were 30% higher, 30% lower the next day.
Wow.
It was tough. So our office is in the Galleria area. At that time, I was in an executive suite, small, where, maybe a floor of the executive suite. I literally said, everyone was throwing the key at the bank. I wasn't going to do that. Our investors were doing really well. I actually did extremely well during the recession because I was in the right place. Oil was well and healthcare was doing well in Houston. And I said, I can't let this tarnish my track record. I was too young at the time. And still, even now, I don't want anything to tarnish my track record. I try my best not to do that. So what we did was I moved our corporate office literally overnight to Pearland, which is way out of the way. For a financial firm that's headquartered in the Galleria area.
Exactly.
So it's like, we did that. We established the price, played our triple net, whatever, and then attracted others. And while everyone else was throwing away the key, and we saved the investment. I can tell you most commercial buildings went out of bankrupt at that time or foreclosed or negotiated a buyout or something. We didn't. And now it's one of our better assets. And we still hold on it today. We got a non-recourse loan eventually. And we're going to sell it soon when the prepayment goes away. So the thing is, where there's a will, there's a way. You just say, make shit happen. You got to make it happen. We could have told, investors, hey, this is force majeure. That's not our fault.
Yeah,
but you can't do that.
Especially at that age. But at that time, you're only 34 years old.
Yeah, exactly. I had no but see, in my opinion, you had no choice.
Yeah.
We have to make it happen. I don't, one thing, like when you watch CNBC and they go, oh, wow, the earnings of Apple, which is, a great company, for example, let's say the earnings miss their earnings or their iPhones don't make enough iPhones in China because of COVID, or they miss their earnings by 1 cent. The shares drop $30 or $20 or whatever. We don't believe that at ZT. We got to figure it out. That's just the way we are. We're wired. Now, again, we're much more corporate than we used to be. We have a lot more due diligence than we ever did. Before, as an entrepreneur, as a kid, you do things by the seat of the pants. I don't know if I would do some of the things I've done 20 years ago. That ended up, I think I was just lucky and got my mom's prayers worked out and they did well. We don't do those things now. Our probably investment committee is more tough than any bank committee. Mm-hmm. So I'm very proud of the fact how we've evolved. But, lucky, risk, mom's prayers. And I think when you're trying to do the right thing, karma, it works out like that in that example.
So tell me, I know you've been in business now for 23 years. But first of all, congratulations, because that's a milestone, right? So you started when you're 23 years old. What is next for ZT?
I think ZT, we're going to grow. What we look at companies now is, first of all, we do a lot of philanthropy too. That's very important to me. What I'm sure we'll get into establishing that part of our side for the community, but more known than we're known now for it. ZT wants to keep building its auto platform, We feel like there's great opportunity there. We feel like in our healthcare side, there's great opportunity. We do not want to, I've learned through these 3 exits I've had, we don't like holding on to assets now without having some sort of major liquidity event. In our culture, Sam, where we come from, you don't sell a business that's printing money.
Exactly.
But in this country, you don't know. You just don't know the cycles of business and what can happen. So it's, in my thinking, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. So the way I look at it is, the way we look at a business now is, we want to just keep growing our business. I think the Altus Healthcare Neighbor System, I'm not selling this I'm foreshadowing or anything. I don't have a buyer for it. But we want to keep doing what we're doing. We feel like we can become a strategic, if you see, the way I look at a business now is, we don't start things from scratch anymore. We hardly do. So when we look at a business, we have to acquire, professionalize, scale, and have an exit. So those 4 things are very vital for me. So in the healthcare side, we feel like we're scaling it. We probably are going to different cities in Texas. We're closing a couple of deals in Dallas now. We're looking at a deal in Florida. So when a private equity company or strategic healthcare buyer comes in, they'll say, wow, they've replicated it. We want, like our infusion company, we built it to 6 states. The group that bought us, a multi-billion-dollar private equity, they're in 35 states now. And we took money off the table. So what we want to do is build our healthcare portfolio over the next, I think, 3 to 5 years, exit that to a group, and then the auto side, I just love that business. We'll probably do a dividend recap, get some money out for our investors. But I like that business. I like the model, so I don't know yet. But we look at businesses in those 4 steps, like I said. And then once we sell the healthcare side, which in my opinion could be, a huge exit for us, we feel as though that will become more of a fund, like you'll see in New York, where we hire operators who are former operators like myself, like my partner Craig Kilo, some other experts, and really now start investing in other healthcare deals and look at people to back and management teams. Because I'm getting too old now to do this every day, to run companies. I'd rather manage companies as an oversight point of view. It's a true private equity partner.
So
that's next for ZT.
So basically, you saying that auto. I mean, do you have a goal of becoming almost like a Group 1 or Auto Nation kind of thing?
It's funny you mentioned Group 1. My presidents helped start Group 1, and we have that platform. I have that plan.
vision.
That vision is exactly, and I like what Group 1's done. For disclosure, I invest in their company. I love what they do. They've done a great job. And there's very few minority auto dealers in the country, and there's a big problem with that. But the manufacturers want to find a qualified minority. It's so hard to become a dealer because the rigorous process of getting approved. Even Warren Buffett had trouble getting approved. So the fact that we're approved and we've done a great job, and the manufacturers are happy with us, we get opportunities. And there's not many minorities out there, so we are becoming quickly the poster child for the minority auto dealer.
So tell us, when you want to go do like right now you're trying to buy 8 dealerships or whatever, or whenever you're trying to buy a hospital or buy neighborhood like the emergency rooms you did. What do you do? What is your process? If you don't mind, if it's not proprietary, just share with us a little bit.
No, it's basic due diligence 101. What we look at is, first of all, does it fit our... I don't look at transactions anymore. I'm not looking to do a transaction to get a fee. The fees that we charge in our deal are basically to pay for our due diligence.
Right.
We're not making money and that's not where we make our money, and that's where our investors make their money. We make the money by running the business. So how we look at things is, does it fit our strategy? So like say the hospital in Dallas or the 8 dealerships in Houston, we're trying to grow our earnings. Are they mismanaged? Is there an opportunity to create value? Can we scale it? Does it appeal to our scalability?
Gotcha.
Does it appeal to there's several boxes it's got to check. Can we create value basically philosophically, monetarily, and have a liquidity strategy? And if it fits those, we'll look at it. If it doesn't, we'll pass. So we probably looked at 50, 60 deals of auto in the last 6 months and bought 1 deal.
So then you find a deal. You're like, hey, this is a perfect deal. This is a good deal. So why do you go to private investors instead of going to a bank?
We go to banks.
Okay.
Oh, bank finances, the debt piece, we use leverage and investors, both.
Okay. So tell me, for people who are listening and they don't know, they're like, well, how do people raise money with investors, and why do they raise money with investors? You being the expert, would you mind sharing?
Well, even even the biggest companies raise money with investors.
Exactly.
And even Warren Buffett raised money with investors, Berkshire Hathaway. So it's how they can acquire and scale. No one can do it all on their own. That's why investors part of the team. The bank's part of the team. We're all partners. And the way we look at it is if we're providing some expertise they can't get somewhere else, that's why they invest with us. And we're giving them a return that satisfies their risk appetite.
So let's say a lot of people, like, sometimes people look at it like, hey, I want to grow my business, but I don't want to go get outside investor and pay them a 10% return. What do you say on people or what kind of advice do you give?
Well, if you look at Tillman Fertitta, I think he's a great example. Landry's. He owns the Post Oak Hotel, and he has, so many restaurants, Golden Nuggets, so many things. And he said on CNBC the other day, I'll take a quote from him or paraphrasing. He's like, everybody's like, oh, Tillman, you're over leveraged. Everybody accuses you of this, accuses you of that. He goes, I don't want partners. I don't want to answer to them. I don't need them. I like to make my decisions. I like to I'm that guy. So I took a bunch of debt from the market. So I took banks, I took mezzanine debt, I did whatever. But you know what? I don't want partners. And that's his personality. I respect him. He has 100% of the pie. If you have that personality, you want to work with investors, because work with investors is relationships. In every relationship, you got to work at it. Mm-hmm. Whether it's husband, wife, friend, sister, brother, mother, daughter, mother-in-law, you always have to work at it, right? So some people have that personality. We personally, I think I'm a friendly person. I think the firm takes the tone of the leader. I think that we've done 23 years of investors. When I was able to earn more after the first 4 or 5 years, I probably became between debt and equity the highest investor in my deal. So I'm on the same side of the table as my investor too.
Gotcha. So some people, like what you're saying is some people, they don't want partners, so
they don't have the temperament for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want to report. They don't want to report. They don't want to have reporting. I think everybody wants to be transparent, but they don't know how to be. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things. I'm not saying Tillman's not transparent. He's transparent. He is.
Well, he just don't want to answer to anybody.
Don't answer to anybody.
He wants to be the decision maker.
And I am the decision maker too. I'm the sole general partner. No one can really tell me. But at the end of the day, I've never exercised that right.
Yeah.
In a practical matter, if you really want to grow your business and have investors, yes, you do have the sole decision at the end of the day. In my structure, we do in our structure. However, I've always have committees. I always have people, some outsider, some inside. So when we do make a decision, yes, it'll go on me, but I've involved some experts who from outside. I mean, I probably spend millions of dollars a year on soft costs, attorneys, and not for litigation, just to get the advice, attorneys, CPAs, third-party auditors.
Since you brought that up, why, a lot of time people say, have a good attorney, have a good accountant.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit your perspective. Why is it so important to have some of those?
First of all, I think that you don't know the law. And by the way, ignorance is not, unfortunately, ignorance is not a defense. And by the way, a lot of people are truly ignorant of something happening, or they're not informed. But the law or the spirit of the law doesn't really defend you for that. So having a good attorney, making sure you're going in all in, understanding all the things that can go wrong. See, contracts are not there they're there for a rainy day. No one really refers to the contract unless there's some sort of dispute coming. Mm-hmm. So you got to have someone draw all those scenarios for you that you yourself, who's in the weeds, are not going to see. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see those issues because you want that product pushed out no matter what, because you're the entrepreneur. The lawyer or the accountant's going to make sure it's tax efficient, do all those things that you're not thinking about. You just want to somehow get that product out because you're the entrepreneur. You're biased. Mm-hmm. You need an unbiased opinion who can protect you and your firm and the investor too.
So, and that's why it's important to have a good lawyer. What about a good accountant?
Very important. Tax efficiency, there's every day. Look at the Trump's laws on our tax. I still can't understand it. I just call, look at the PPP and all these things and there's so many things, this COVID thing, the stimulus package. I tell people, call me, what should I do today? I said, first of all, you need to spend relative to your business, a percentage of that to invest in a damn good lawyer who can understand, because a lot of people who dot the I wrong or T wrong on an SBA application, they can go to jail without even knowing it. So you got to have those things.
Have a good lawyer, good accountant.
Yes.
In business, that's very important.
Soft costs, very important. Especially in the minority cultures like ours, Sam. They don't believe in soft costs. They want to see something for their money.
Yeah.
The intangible is their business.
Yeah.
They don't really understand that. They need to spend money on that.
Need to spend money on that. So you used to be in a restaurant. You used to have restaurant in your portfolio also. Not no more. Or
Yeah.
still have some.
I'm pretty much out.
Okay. Why?
Well, Popeyes, I had Popeyes. We did well in that. I think we bought it 3 or 4. I don't remember. Don't quote me. And we sold it 8. It was like a 10-year hold. We bought a management team that was at Popeyes that was just changing. So we got an opportunity. Got an opportunity to exit. We exited. We rolled into Carl's Jr. Hardee's. We got into that business and it's a really good West Coast brand and Southeast brand, but in Texas didn't do that well. So I just kind of like basically with the situation of COVID, wrapped it up and kind of disposed of it. Again, I feel like my time is just really well used in nice ass healthcare and auto. I just know it.
Was the restaurant, the Hardee's and Carl Jr. was a rainy day scenario?
Definitely a rainy day. Definitely a rainy day. But we made lemon out of lemonade in some deals. But again, I'm gonna figure out a way for my clients how we can figure it out. But it's definitely not one of my best ones for sure. And again, I'll attribute that to not knowing narrow and deep because I never did it myself. In auto, I had the right expert, skin in the game. I understood. I learned it. I sat with them. I'm learning. We did really well in the Popeyes deal, and you just think again, oh my God, I can do it again. The best thing is just again when you may have got lucky. So rainy days happen.
To say you're very passionate about this auto industry. Look like you really like it,
love it,
and enjoy. So with the way everything is going online and car business has been changing.
Yeah, you got to evolve.
But why your interest in the car business when car business is not like it used to be 10 years ago?
No, it's not your dad's car business.
Yeah.
I also don't drive my dad's Oldsmobile either. So, but yeah, we have an online presence, huge online presence, so and in the manufacturers, look at the Uber situation right now.
Right.
I'm not saying Uber is going away. I think Uber will come back after the vaccine and treatments and whatever. But I think a lot of people still say, I want to drive my own car. And by the way, Uber drivers buy from us too. So we're good. Either way, we're good.
Uber and Lyft.
Yeah. So we have we have an online presence. The millennials don't want to spend time at the dealership like all day. Like my dad used to be an outing. He used to go 4 or 5 dealerships and come home with a car and make a deal. Over here, they've kind of made the deal online, and then they come in just to pick up the car and get the service. So I feel there's more people buying than ever cars, especially millennials. And I feel like there's just so much opportunity here. We don't have the inventory right now to service our with the COVID situation, strike and all that.
So that's my other question. A lot of car dealerships don't have the inventory. Because the manufacturers were closed. Yeah. Okay. So what are y'all doing in that situation?
Well, used car business prices are going up, and our gross is going higher. So it's great for our investors, and also we've been able to take care of our customers with the used car. But we're probably one of the larger dealerships in Atlanta, and we have a large platform in Florida, and we do so well that we had so much stockpile from the manufacturers. The better you do, the more inventory you get.
The dealerships are called ZT Motors? Or?
ZT Motors. Oh. Well, actually, ZT Motors is the holding company. It's called Steve Raymond Chevrolet, which is an iconic dealership in Atlanta, been around for a long, long time near the Brave Stadium in Atlanta. And ZT Motors, Toyota Fort Walton Beach in Florida, BMW Fort Walton Beach, Mazda Fort Walton Beach, and now ZT Motors Mercedes has asked us, which is great. We've converted our name from ZT Motors Mercedes to Mercedes-Benz of Fort Walton Beach.
Okay, so you have a Mercedes dealership over there too?
Yes.
Okay.
I see you have one outside. You didn't buy it from me.
Matter of fact, I did call Mercedes at Walton.
You did?
Walton Beach, yes.
You did? You got a deal. I saw it said Florida. I said maybe you bought it from us.
Well, I didn't know because. I did.
It's a nice ride.
I spoke to a couple of people.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I spoke to a couple of people over there at your dealership. It just ended up that other place ended up being a better deal.
Okay, all right. Well,
you know how they say and what you touch right now, and I wanted to say that nowadays people.
I was going to charge you now for this podcast. I was going to give you a rebate on the car. You didn't know.
I didn't know. I should have called you.
See, you got to think soft costs, intangibles. It's relationship.
I should have called you and said, you know what, can we get that done? No, honestly,
it's a beautiful car. Congratulations.
Thank you. I was looking at another car, and then that one ended up being edition 1. and there's not a lot of edition ones in the country.
Beautiful car. I have this car at home.
Thank
Zach ZT is a beautiful car.
you. You love it?
Love it.
Well, that's good. That means I made a good purchase.
Great purchase. Great purchase. Very underrated car.
So I know you are in philanthropy.
Yeah.
And I know you hold a gala every year.
Yes.
In December. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it started with a client kind of appreciation party in 2003, 2002, and evolved then to, we always gave back to the community. Mm-hmm. And then we decided to sponsor a, different American Heart Association or American Cancer Society. Robert Ory's, his daughter had passed away. She had some disease and we sponsored him. Mm-hmm. Then we decided, you know what, my sister, who's Dr. Tamina Badar, said, we have so many doctors in our network. Why can't we use our facilities that we're already paying for? Like you're paying for the overhead here, right, tonight. It's already paid for. Why can't we use that to give back to some indigent care, some people? And so we decided to get our vendors involved, mm-hmm. And they sponsor the event. So any proceed from the event, there's cost to the event, obviously.
Of course.
And then after that, the proceeds go to our foundation. And the proceeds go so far because the MRI machine we have, the doctors giving their time, the nurses, they're already paid for. Yeah. So let's say a radiation oncology patient, a prostate, bill charges are $200,000. Let's say it'll cost us $20,000 to do that. So that's $200,000 worth of work that we did for that patient that can't afford it. So the gala is about 15. It's the largest gala in Houston every year. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do this year. It's definitely still on at this time. But 1,600 people, 13 to 1,600 people. We have a great performer usually. I usually give some sort of rundown about the year, what we did, what we're going to do. And we have a great time.
Right.
It's all about having fun, community, giving back. Usually our leadership of the community is there, and we're just really proud. I honestly now just show up as a guest. I usually create the gala, but my team does everything now. I'm just like a guest as you would be.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's a very big, nice deal. I know I went to one of them a couple of years ago, and it was a good time.
Thank you.
So tell me, what do you? So all the does it all the money go to a particular organization, or does it go in your hospital? I mean, and people.
Right. That's a great question. Altus Foundation is the name of our foundation, which is named after our healthcare group. Right. And our president, Marcus, we work with our committee where to give money to. Like last week, these cops have been so beaten up, poor guys, in all this situation. And I know it's a very tough situation for everybody. And so we fed all the Houston Police Union. At the same time, we also gave back a lot to the African-American community in their churches and things of that nature. So we do things like that are off the cuff, that are not necessarily, you could say, healthcare related, mm-hmm. but we'll do this, we'll do the surgeries, we'll do the radiation oncology, we'll do dental work. We do all the things that we do in our facilities anyways, and that's where we mark majority of the money.
So what is the main goal of the philanthropy? I mean, why did it start, and why do you continue doing it?
Well, I think that there's a need in healthcare, and we're in the healthcare business. Again, narrow and deep. We know that business, and we know there's so expensive for the common person without insurance. Even if they have insurance, like this COVID situation, it's going to create that they can't pay rent. They're not going to be able to have a job. They won't be able to, pay the deductible. Some people have insurance, so they can't even pay their deductible. Right. So it just depends. So that's why the goal of the foundation is to make it actually outside of the gala, that actually we get some more corporate sponsors. We have mostly our vendors, and ZT is the biggest corporate sponsor. ZT itself is the biggest sponsor every year.
About a couple of months ago, I think earlier this year, we interviewed Swapnil and I saw that you have partnered up with him.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that partnership or collaboration or whatever.
It's more of a collaboration. I respect him a lot. He's a young entrepreneur, done extremely well for himself in a very short period of time. He's from the Indian community. We're both proud South Asians. I feel as though he's narrow and deep in the multifamily business, and I'm narrow and deep auto and health side. So if there's a collaboration, we could raise capital together and help each other in businesses that we are running. I think that would be great. we actually just started in talks to do something, and then COVID hit literally 3 days after we announced.
Wow.
So we've kind of like let everything be on. It's on ice for now.
It's on ice right now.
But that doesn't mean it won't pick up.
Okay. And I mean, Swapnil is a great guy. I mean, his story is very, inspiring.
It
at
is.
the same time, and I think he had a article in Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
I think 300 to, I think it was 2 billion. Something
Yeah,
like
in
that.
real estate. Yeah.
In real estate. So I mean, he's also just like yours, because I mean, you started with this. Just working for somebody, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I want to be an entrepreneur forever. And I mean, $700 million revenue is not a joke in a year. So I mean, I tip my hat to you.
Thank you.
So long-term goal, let's say you're 46 today.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to be?
Hope I don't look that old, but I'm getting there.
Where do you want to be? When you are 55, 60.
I think I'd
56.
like, as far as ZT goes, I want to be a great father, give more of my time to my son. I think it's very important now. I think I'm able to. I have a great team right now that I wasn't able to 5 years ago. So, but as far as the answer is, I think in the next 3 years, I think I could be more chairman of the board, or, instead of the CEO and chairman and CEO of ZT Corporate. And really, I've been asked so many times to work with, my Texas A&M University. I do lectures there. I'd love to give back to the, youth. I'd like to be involved in our fund from like an executive chairman, or, chairman of the board instead of day to day. And I'm not saying retiring. I'm actually working with my skill level, using my brain and promoting from within other folks to take my job day to day.
Gotcha. What does an average day look like in Taseer Badar's life?
A lot of phone calls.
Okay.
A workout every day. Time with my son. Somehow, some way. He plays a lot of baseball. I'm involved in 55 baseball teams that we own as well, from Houston, and Texas, and California, youth baseball teams. Mm-hmm. Trying to give back to the community that way. So I go see a lot of baseball practices. I come home, you could say I go to work probably around, I'm not a very early morning person because I'm a late night person. I probably go to work at, I'm on the phone early, but I could probably at work mid-morning, early afternoon. Go home 6:30, 8:30, have a dinner at 9 to 11 with someone somewhere. Someone's flying, pre-COVID probably. Yeah. 11:30, probably check emails 1, 2 in the morning. I talk to my partner in Dubai, this, that, and go to sleep, and it starts again.
So, I know several people that work, at ZT, or have worked at ZT at one time. Matter of fact, my controller used to work at your place also. And, we have all heard of these famous Tuesday night meetings. Tell us about that.
It's a pajama party. The Tuesday night, it's like in the restaurant industry. It's like usually not that busy, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I used to download. I kind of used to call people out. What's happening? What's going on? Catch them on their toes. And also really it was a brainstorming session. And we did it. I think that's what built this company. I really do. From 2000, I would say 5, we started it, to a good, 2000s, I'd say 16, 17. But we have not had Tuesday night meeting since July of 2017.
Oh, really?
No.
So what was the 2000s? What was the Tuesday night meeting?
It was marketing.
What time did it start?
It started when I showed up. Unfortunately, it was I wasn't always on time because I'd come from a dinner meeting and I'd come late.
So 11, 10:30, 11?
10:30, 11, and it ended at like 2:30.
And
if we were really lucky, if we really got just like my coach says, my son's baseball coach says, listen, if we catch the fly balls properly, we can get out of here in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It just depends who had their stuff together. If they had their stuff together, and then sometimes our meetings last an hour.
Uh-huh.
But then when we had the gala time, literally we could literally be there till 7, 8 in the morning.
Wow.
It was because that's when we didn't have the ability and the funds to have an event coordinator and all that. We were doing everything ourselves.
All right, good.
But listen, the Tuesday night meetings are over.
Tuesday night meeting are over. Why are they over?
They don't even have a Saturday meeting anymore.
Why?
I got a great team with a skill set. I don't have to, they know what they're doing. They run a great team. I have presidents of divisions now. We have so many presidents in the company, and there's a few presidents. There's several controllers. Like probably in your controller workforce, probably that controller did everything for all ZT companies. Now we have a controller and a CFO for for the healthcare side, for the auto side, subdivisions of those. So it's just a lot different. It's from a mom and pop evolution to a corporate private equity backed company.
So let's say it's from thousands of years from today, because since you're in health industry and you love the health industry, you build this something that kept you alive for 1,000 years, but now it's time to go, right? And
go where?
Go to the next
life.
To the next life, right? And you want to leave something for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Three advices, something how to live, how to carry yourself.
Yeah.
Something, whatever, what Taseer Badar will be known for. 3 things. What will it be?
I think, there's so many things I could say. Just give me a moment. But I think a lot of people miss out on life. A lot of people regret time. One advice is, time passes very quickly. I think, in this show's name, I would say you got to make it happen, not watch it happen. And that's huge. You got to make it happen. And no one's going to do it for you. Another comment, no one will do for you what you do for yourself. Ever. Mm-hmm. Not possible. And I think, and I think I missed out on this a lot, but I'm still relatively young. And I think the workouts have helped and the good diet has helped. I can still enjoy it. Enjoy life. Enjoy life. Don't think about it.
All right. Well,
got to do it.
That's good. So don't think about it. I want to ask you 2 or 3 questions. Yeah. And so before we end this interview, and I always ask people, define your meaning of humility.
I think when someone sees me and says, wow, I didn't know that's that guy that owns that house or that business, or that he hangs out with so-and-so people, just he's a regular guy. I think that to me is when I won the humility argument, and I feel as though that, because it's really important for me people to feel like when you can hang out with a janitor or a CEO and you treat them the same, that to me is that's how I test somebody. So I would want someone to test me that way. So I feel like that's the definition of humility.
What is your definition of success?
Happiness.
Happiness.
It's not wealth. It's not money. It's happiness.
And money does. So here, I always ask people this, not on interview or, since you said that, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
A lot of people say money doesn't buy happiness.
It helps.
It helps.
It helps.
But it doesn't buy it.
Doesn't buy it. That's why I said you got to spend time with your loved ones and give back and spend time with yourself.
But it definitely helps and makes it easy.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know, before we end this thing, I know you are really good friends with A-Rod.
Yeah. So I was on the phone with him today.
How many times have you met Jennifer Lopez?
Oh, many times.
Take a picture for me next time. Thank you so much for coming over here, coming on the show. Thank you. People can always give you money. People can always buy you gifts. But time is such a gift.
It is.
That is valuable. And once time goes by, it never comes back. So I really appreciate it that you gave me your time and you shared your time with all our listeners and with the world.
Thank you. I'm so honored what you're doing for the community. I'm sorry we didn't hook up earlier.
No problem.
But the problem is sometimes, and I'll leave you with this. Now the good thing about our company, now we're not a mom and pop company anymore. Then you have a PR group. Okay, who should we go on? Who should we do? I just want to be myself and come out and hang out, and sometimes that kind of pulls you back. I know structure is important. Mm-hmm. And I'm not knocking my PR team. They do a great job. But at the same time, sometimes it's cool to be real. And I appreciate you being real with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Perfect.